People often ask me where to buy yerba mate and recommendations, and I'd suggest going to supporting a local store or a small business if possible. However, if you're living somewhere where you can't, like I once was, and they just don't offer the yerba that you want, check out Pampa Direct. They have the largest supply of yerba mate that I've seen, and I've learned and tried so many from them before that I've never seen anywhere else. But not only yerba, they also have dulce de leche, alfajores, shirts like jerseys, games and snacks like chocolinas, which is one of my wife's favorite cookies. And I found some really great recommendations on there for beginners, such as Don Eregi, which is something I learned about by just trying different stuff there. And also some of my personal favorites, which is Pipore and Aguantadora Despalada. They have great customer service that speaks English, and in fact, they shipped me another package of yerba for free after they had mixed up one of my orders. And they always include like little, extras, like little candies and stuff, which is really nice. And they ship anywhere in the world, and they offer free shipping here in the U.S. with an order of $50 or more. That may change depending on your country. And as a sponsor of the show, they offer 10% off on your first order with the code POWER. Go to yerbamatepower.com/pampa to place an order. Again, that's yerbamatepower.com/pampa. Pampa. Pampa. Thanks.
Welcome to the Yerba Power Podcast, where we share the power of yerba mate with the world. Introducing your host, Devin.
All right, Travis, welcome to the Yerba Power Podcast. Honored to have you here, brother.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So you guys, I know Travis through a leadership program that we did through a organization called Dad's Edge Alliance. So it's basically a mentorship for fathers. So you guys, I probably haven't told a lot about this about my passion for yerba mate, but my true job in life is, as a father, and how I can change the legacy and change the world by raising good kids, because good dads raise good dads. So we know each other through that. But he's also looking to launch his own podcast in July. Remind me the date?
Correct. Yep. July 8th.
July 8th. So hopefully by the time this is out, you might already be able to listen to this. And Travis also, he's familiar at least with the yerba mate because I've talked to him about it, but he also has, questions about yerba mate that you might have questions about. And so I'm giving him the space to just kind of ask those questions, as well as maybe whatever you got about podcasting and stuff as well. So, Travis, I don't know, I guess give us, brief intro yourself or questions you might got for me.
Sure. Yeah. No, thank you for that. And thank you for telling everybody, because, very, very proud to be a part of that group with you. It's been awesome and a very fulfilling journey. I have a lighting design business that I have started in the last couple of years and do my own. And then on the side here, I was interested in starting a podcast with this concept called Earth-centric lighting. And I saw you on the Dad Edge group posting about, hey, I started a yerba mate podcast. Reach out to me if you want to know how to start a podcast, and you're a wealth of information. So I'm excited to put myself out there and start putting together some shows, because I think it's going to be really fun, at least on my end. And I think, as far as the yerba mate goes, I think the most obvious question maybe would be, what is yerba mate?
Very common question. So the scientific name is like Ilex peruviensis, which is like, basically it's a leaf, just like any other kind of leaf on a tree, but similar to green tea, it has a lot of antioxidants, vitamins, and things like that. But like coffee, it also has caffeine. So it's the best of both worlds in those regards. Drink traditionally is they, pick it off the tree, they dry it, cut it up, let it age, and then you put it in a cup and put a special straw with a filter, pour some hot water, and drink it that way.
Now, that is the traditional way, correct?
Correct.
That's the right way to do it with that leaf, and then you put.
Right way, I guess you could say, yeah. But
I do see those drinks now. I've been getting them too that are at the gas stations and grocery stores. They're yerba mate, or man, there's another one I'm drawing the blank on. But are those beneficial as well, or is that not as good as the natural leaf tea?
So, in my opinion, obviously the traditional is way more beneficial because there's no sugars and other things added into it. So, obviously you want a different taste of, other fruit flavors or juices and stuff in some of those energy drink cans that you're mentioning. But it's kind of like, how could I describe this? I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to be, I guess, if you can eat the fruit like an orange versus drink an orange juice. Does that make sense? And kind of the sense of getting the full nutrients and fibers and things like that kind of from the main source versus the, extracted, maybe a better word, extracted from the
then on top of that, it's the juice, like you say, and then there's not the ones I've seen, they got 60% of your daily value of sugar added in it, right? So definitely imagine there's a lot more benefit to going to the natural. So if someone's maybe wants to get into that, and how do they get the natural stuff? Where is that available? What? Because obviously it's not just like a normal cup, right? You kind of have a process for drinking it.
Yeah. So this is so far, Travis. Excellent questions. So what is yerba mate, and then how do you get started? Like, these are probably the two biggest questions that anybody would have. And so getting started, I'll be honest, it can be a little overwhelming at first because people see all this stuff, but it's really not that complicated, I promise. People, I think, make it a little more, in a way it can be, because everybody has kind of their own unique style, flavors. Some people add different, herbs and stuff like medicinal purposes. Some people add sugar, some people don't. Some people add coconut milk, some people don't. Some people add, this, that, and the other. Some people, prepare it with a hotter water, lower temperature water. They use this kind of cup, they use that kind of cup. All in all, you don't eat, I guess people see the traditional gourd and they're like, where do I get that? And you don't even need that. I'm not saying that, because it's really the herb, like the yerba itself is the main ingredient, right? So, good quality yerba. However, usually when you're first getting started, it can be a little overwhelming. Like, have you ever had matcha?
Yes.
Do you drink matcha? Okay. So, your first time you're like, oh, thanks, but no thanks, because it's a taste. Let's be honest. Most people, when they first try yerba mate the traditional way, it's like, oh, thanks, thank you. It was like, okay, appreciate it, but I'm just being nice. So there's a lot of ones out there that I would recommend as beginners because they're less bitter. They may have a better flavor or a lighter flavor, something not as shocking, I guess, to get started. There's a couple different ways to get that. Amazon's obviously the easiest, probably. There's another one that I use, is Pampa Direct, that I'm affiliated with, because they have literally everything yerba that you can order online. So as far as getting in the yerba or a local store, a couple of different brands. There's one brand that I really like for beginners called Abrazo, which is someone I work with. And the reason I like them for a beginner is because it literally looks like regular tea. So it isn't as, I guess, overwhelming. For a beginner, it looks like just regular tea, and you can brew it like just regular tea. So if you want to start small, maybe just get some regular yerba mate and brew it like regular tea. In other words, put it in a teapot, pour some hot water, let it steep. However, that's better than probably an energy can, but that's a baby step, right? And then if you wanted to do it full on traditional, I would recommend either a glass or a stainless steel like cup. They make all kinds of these cups, or just really any cup, just because it's easier to clean and maintain. Because if you get the traditional one, it can get moldy. You have to clean it out. It can break. Lots of other, things you got to technical, I guess. So just a regular glass or stainless steel cup. The straw, of course, you have to have if you're going to drink it that way, because it has a filter on it.
called a bombilla or a bombilla, Bombilla. That's basically the Argentine word for the straw. That's the straw filter. You pour the yerba in there, straw, hot water. That's pretty much it. Yeah. Did I answer that question? I feel like I went a long ways around to that.
I think there can be as involved as you want, right? And it's not like just buying a typical drink at the store. You can go to Amazon, or you can go to your affiliate source, which was
Pampa Direct. Pampa or Pampa Direct.
Pampa Direct. Okay.
Yeah. Pampa is the area in Argentina, kind of like the Great Plains is here in the U.S.
Yeah. Okay. And then that's where you get the leaf, and then you pretty much just add in water and drink it like a tea if you want to just get started, right? And then
basically,
if you want to get more complicated, then you can get in with which your show elaborates on in the other episodes with the straws and the different cups, and you can pretty much drink it all day. So then what's the benefits for the people who are for drinking it?
Man, you're coming up with great questions. Like I promise I didn't pay Travis to do this, you guys. No, the main benefits for most people, to be honest, is the health benefits, is the caffeine, because no one wants to give up their caffeine. But those that are sensitive to caffeine, I mean, it's not as strong and it has a different delivery system of caffeine. There's a chemical called theobromine. It's also in cacao or in chocolate. So it has kind of like this euphoric and more sustained delivery of caffeine versus a punch. So like the crash and jitters and all that kind of stuff that you kind of get from other, caffeine delivery. So, I mean, usually caffeine, let's be honest, they don't want to give that up. But the health benefits being that in how it differs from coffee is the vitamins and antioxidants similar to green tea, but it actually has more than green tea, is like B vitamins and other vitamins that I can't remember off the top of my head, but you can obviously Google all the different but also it has other kind of chemicals that help with digestion.
Coffee doesn't do that, right? It creates more gut disruption, it seems like.
And the acid reflux and those kind of things. So it's kind of flip the switch on that. So those are the main health benefits that are tied to it. And also, I guess, to me, what I like is, like you said, you can drink it all day because it's essentially just water and leaves versus, I don't know, it's just, I guess, different in the way that you can kind of just drink water all day, essentially, right? And there's no, like...
Now, is it something you can drink at like 5 o'clock at night and still go to sleep?
Personally, yeah, but I will admit, yes, anytime you drink caffeine later in the evening, it can have those effects, right? And especially with yerba mate personally, and I think most people would agree, is the way the caffeine, it gives you more of a clarity, puts you in a calming and alert mode at the same time. So you're alert, but you're also kind of calm. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it once you start drinking it, and then you're addicted like me, and then you realize, like, man, yes, this makes me feel so good. So that kind of tends to backfire on me sometimes, I'll admit. Even last night, I kind of I wanted to do some journaling, and I was talking to a guy, buddy, and then I was drinking some mate, and then I kind of got into this zone of then the next thing I know, it's like, oh man, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. It's like, I need to go to bed. So yeah, it can backfire if you drink too late. Typically, I drink first thing in the morning, and then sometimes it's kind of like a pick me up in the afternoon around 2 or 4 or something like that at the latest. My wife usually after get home from work or with the kids or something like that. So
that sounds great. Like alert and calming is two of the things you want versus, I feel like the coffee usually just and then your anxiety's through the roof, right?
Yeah.
Totally. Well, I feel like maybe if you're okay, that's a good transition point to pivot to maybe some questions about the podcast too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because
no, those are great questions. Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, I would say though, to expound upon kind of getting started.
Yes.
As far as I've got a couple videos, you know, on Instagram and stuff that you can find different ways. Like, for example, brewing it in a coffee pot. I learned this from someone else, a guy named Osvaldo, who's a company called Toma Yerba Mate. He has his own yerba mate, but I actually got some over there in the coffee pot you can't see. But basically, I brew it in a coffee pot. I just pour the leaves in the filter just like coffee and brew it just like coffee.
Oh.
So anyways, those are some other like hacks, I guess you could say, as far as getting started. So it doesn't have to be as complicated. But if you want to do it like completely 100% traditional way, not really that complicated either. I could, you know, you can link to some of my videos. You can search it on YouTube. You know, if you want me to do a demonstration, I'm always happy to help. But it's,
Boy, that sounds
you can
like
still do it
easy.
traditional without having to do it the whole thing, like kind of gradual steps.
Yeah, that sounds like the easiest way, because a lot of people are probably used to brewing coffee in the morning. Just put some leaves right in there.
Yeah.
And do you still use it with the filter or without? Kind of
Yeah,
the same
yeah.
setup?
I put a paper filter in there, and just like I would coffee, just pour it in the paper filter.
And how long does it take before you start feeling the benefits? Is it something that you feel right away, or does it take a few days, or is that?
Oh no, yeah, no. It's just like any other, you know, drink. You feel it pretty much right away. Yeah.
Cool.
Now, as far as like, I don't know where it'll be a flip of a switch for a first time drinker because it's been so long for me. But I imagine with a first time person, it would be even more instantaneous because it's just not what you're used to, I guess, you know. But just like any other liquid beverage that you drink, you pretty much feel it right away. As far as all the antioxidants cleaning your system and stuff, I don't know how long that would take or not, but
Yeah.
and I don't know how big of an impact those necessarily play, but you know,
Okay. So
the right positive direction.
yeah. So there's definitely some of those system cleaning going on while you're drinking that as well too.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, maybe switching over to podcasts. I don't know
Yeah.
if you saw, but this is a good example. I already tried setting up my camera, but my camera went out on me. Now it's not my internet speed. Seems to be an issue with Zoom and my high-end camera. And at some point there, it froze and switched over to the regular laptop camera. So I'm not sure. There's definitely a technical issue I got to figure out there that I thought I already took care of. But probably if you're wanting to start a podcast, I imagine you're going to go through those types of situations.
Be honest, yeah. I'm trying this out. You guys that are listening, I'm trying something out right now. Actually, as we're recording this, there's a Fathom note taker that I learned about. Basically, it's an app in Zoom that you can like record and transcribe all the audio and even highlight certain clips. So, I mean, to be honest, a lot of it's trial and error, and if you never get started, you'll never do it, right? But as far as your camera, I'm not really into the video part just yet. But I my best advice probably would be, yeah, trying some different things, but also maybe having a backup camera, like, in other words, like you have your laptop camera, you said, also going. So it's like, hey, worst case scenario, you missed the recording on this one, but at least you got like a backup, I guess, maybe as far as video.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people usually like record with a separate kind of mic for the podcast, but then a separate like video, like their computer is doing the video, but they're using like their mic through, you know, another way kind of sometimes. So another possible thing.
Yeah.
I just try to keep it simple.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. Your audio sounds great. Your video looks great. I think there's something to that. So maybe because you helped me out a lot I feel like you gave me just a ton of information that was gold. And for maybe someone who wants to start a podcast or I feel like it'd be very beneficial to go there and ask, because you gave me 3 resources that I feel like that were really good. For just starting out.
What were those? I'm just curious. What were the?
So one was what the audio AI, right? That
Oh, the Adobe.
yes, yes.
Yeah. So
And
okay.
then-
So let me just
yes.
explain. So Adobe, for free, like Adobe that does PDFs and all that stuff. They have an AI podcast enhancing software. You just sign up, create an account or whatever. It's free. You upload your audio, and it cleans it up like amazing. So you can kind of record on whatever mic you got. So just to keep you from overthinking the mic situation, because I know I dug way too deep into the microphone situation. But yeah. Okay, what else?
That's a funny thing about the microphones. I literally did, because I have an interview today, my first interview. Well, actually second now, but technically, well, I guess you're interviewing me, but this is your show reversed.
Yeah.
But I was going through my audio, and then I did 4 different mic tests, and then the headset was the winner. Yeah, so I definitely am glad I checked it out first.
And I don't know about you personally, but for me personally, I feel that, yes, podcasts, you want to be able to intelligibly understand the person. You don't want it to be like, crummy and grainy,
Right.
and you don't want it to be low. You want it to be loud enough that you can hear. But to be honest, like, I mean, me personally, like if the quality is not, because I've listened to so many podcasts where they do like a Skype interview and they recorded it and you can tell like it's on Skype. Like you can tell it's like they're talking, in the other room on the computer. You can tell, right? And still it's great stuff as long as it's like loud enough and clear enough, right? I mean, I don't know about you, but
Well, and then the microphone being right here, you can just talk normally versus I feel like if I had the other mics, I was like trying to do the breath and project, make sure I was being loud enough.
Yeah.
It makes it a lot harder than just having a microphone right here. Maybe you've seen something button to your shirt.
Yeah.
But yeah, so far I think this one was the winner. So you gave me the link to that, and that was the Adobe AI. Right.
Yeah, I'll put it in show notes or something.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Later. Yep.
And then Audacity to try practice recording and getting used to that.
Yep.
And then,
so Audacity is another free resource you can just download. It's pretty basic. I used it back in like high school or college when I was trying to make like different, band kind of stuff. Like we were trying to make songs and whatnot. I mean, it's super basic. It's just record and then like cut and delete. It's anyways. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you for elaborating, because I forget. I do know it now, but someone listening probably doesn't.
By far the easiest way to get started for sure.
Yeah, I think so.
GarageBand on Mac, but I'm not familiar with Mac, unfortunately. So,
gotcha. Okay, and then Buzzsprout, because you have to have a source to dump all this onto, right?
Yep. That was a learning curve for me because I had no idea what to do with the stuff. So Buzzsprout is a kind of like how you have to have when you have a website, you have to have a host for your website. Like, you have the domain, which is like the address, like basically your house address, but you have to have a host to be able to put the stuff on the internet, basically. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense to me. I think, is that strictly audio or is that video too? Does that post video on certain?
So only audio, as far as I know.
Okay.
Buzzsprout, and there's another one, Libsyn. Libsyn is, I think, the more popular, famous one because like there's so many big name podcasters that use it. However, personally, Buzzsprout is way more intuitive, and that's why I just like, man, I don't need to know everything. I just need to get started, and then I can change systems or whatever later. But so far, so good. It's free to get started. I haven't paid anything for it yet. However, because I think in like 90 days, it deletes your episodes if you have to upgrade to the membership, and it's only like, I think $12 a month or something, to get like, basically the unlimited content and all that kind of stuff. Because basically it hosts your episodes. And to me, the best thing about it, number one, because it's intuitive, but two, is literally it like you have an RSS feed, which is like the specific direction for your podcast that goes on the website. And then you can literally blast it out onto all of the platforms, like straight from Buzzsprout, like whether you listen to it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Overcast, Amazon, things that I've never even heard of, that other podcasting platforms, it goes them to all of them. So literally the click of a button, my podcast is on every platform that I could ever think about that I don't even know about. So it's everywhere.
That's great.
It's great.
And then do I take it that's the spot too where you put show notes in, and it's just you do it once and then it's loaded and puts it over to those places? Or
well, I'm still kind of experimenting with this. So yes, as far as the episode itself, like you upload the audio and then you write description and whatever you want to put about the episode itself, just like filling out basically any form. But for the specific show notes where I put links and all the other kind of stuff, so right now I'm pushing it to my website. So I actually have an actual website now, yerbamatepower.com. So now what I'm doing is I'm directing those episodes to my actual website that has a podcast section, and then I put the actual podcast, like you embed the player, which is literally just copy and paste from Buzzsprout, and then I write my show notes as a blog post essentially with all the other links and all the other information that like someone's not going to necessarily read on their phone. It's like, here's everything you need to know, I guess, or as much as you want to know. That's what I've been doing as far as the show notes, like other links and stuff. However, I can put all that stuff on the description, I guess, like the links to them. Yes.
Okay. Maybe I missed that. I don't know if you'd mind kind of repeat the concept, because in Buzzsprout, then that's where you don't put the links in there. You do it.
I'm experimenting with that. I put some links, and before, when I first started, to be honest, I didn't really have any links to anything. I was just, I didn't really know what I was doing, to be honest. I just like, hey, here's a couple topics to talk about. I'm just going to record them and put them up there, to be honest. And I was the same kind of stuff that you actually mentioned. Like, okay, what's the question that everybody wants to know? Okay, what is yerba mate? Where's it from? Right? How do you get started? Those kind of things. So it's like, okay, let me start there, and then honestly, like, getting people like you and other people that have like I've reached out to. It's just like all these other cool topics pop up, and then now I was like, okay, now I have stuff to direct to, like other things, like, hey, here's this thing we mentioned that whatever. That's awesome. Yeah, basically what I can do is in Buzzsprout write the description and all the links and everything, just like tag a link, right? Like where you highlight the words and just put the link to it, right?
Yeah,
if you're familiar with what I'm talking about. Okay. So yeah, I could put that all in the description, which on Buzzsprout, which would carry over to all the other platforms as well.
Okay.
So in other words, if you listen to it on, Spotify or whatever, and you click on the episode description, it'll have whatever I put on there.
So you're not going through and copying and pasting it and putting it on Spotify, putting it on.
No. Yes. Exactly.
That's nice.
Yes. That is exactly why I use it, because copy and paste 1,000 times. No, I put it one time on Buzzsprout, publish, and it does everything automatically. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like those three really helped me out. And then to like get started, and then like the concept of like, okay, what is a podcast for? Like, what's the point of me going on? You helped point that out too, where you're talking about each download is a conversation, right? And then it's a conversation with the person. And then so you're getting networking out there. And then also you pointed out 5 pretty good ways to make money on it too. That one being Patreon, another being affiliate links, 3 being sponsorships, the other one advertisement, and then the 5th one, it's free advertisement for your business, my company, or TK Lighting, which is my lighting design business. I could throw a spill in there for advertising to it as well. So
because automatically, okay, so I'll give you the raw stats right now. I'm looking it up on Buzzsprout. It shows all my stats. 127 downloads, and I've only 4 episodes. And I'm not not sorry if this sounds like humble brag or whatever, but
that's quadrupled since the last time we talked too, right?
Exactly. So
that's awesome.
You just have to. This is the empowering thing that I learned this from the person I learned the course from, which is Smart Passive Income. It's a guy named Pat Flynn. I took his course, which I guess I can link that to if anybody really wants to get started. I mean, it's the best. Like I'm synthesizing all the information that I've learned to you through that course. So essentially, yeah, I'm saving you a couple hours of your life. But
absolutely.
So 127 downloads. Think of that as 127 people that we've talked to, or right now. I mean, this episode's not out, but for example, one of my episodes, okay, where's Yerba Mate from? That I did with Brooks from Abrazo Mate, the one that I mentioned. It's got 40 downloads. So imagine like we just had a conversation in a room full of 40 people, about this. Like, I don't know, it's super empowering, and I didn't have to go anywhere to do it.
Right.
And the even crazier thing about it is, let me look. We're in 19 countries, 5 continents. So North, South America, Europe, Asia, and Oceania. So 19 countries. So places I've never even been to, even though I've traveled a lot. Like, not been to the Philippines, not been to Lithuania, not been to Indonesia, not been to South Korea, not been to Brazil, Slovakia, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, or Vietnam. But I have now through virtually.
Nice.
So I don't know. That's the crazy empowering thing about it, and building an authentic community. It's so fun now. Now just doing it is literally just fun. Because number one, I'm talking about something I actually like, and then I get to meet like you and other people, connecting and then talking about these topics. And I don't know. It's just, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you for sharing your knowledge, because I know that helped me out a lot, because otherwise I wouldn't have known how to get started. So it was like, that was very, very helpful for me putting like, okay, here are the steps how to get there.
I think most people get hung up on that. It's like how or what. How do you feel one way or other about that, as far as like how to get
Yeah.
started, or is it about what to talk about?
No, how? Because I feel like there's so many different options, and you don't know what to research, that just confining it down to like maybe 2 or 3 steps really helps out. Like, okay, I gotta go to use Zoom to do my recording. Oh, maybe we forgot to mention that. Use Zoom and you can record the audio. Use the
That's what I do, because it's just everybody has Zoom nowadays thanks to pandemic. I know how to use it thanks to pandemic. Know how to record, all that stuff's just it's just doing what I know, to be honest. I mean, I'm sure there's much better stuff or other things out there. I know there's tons of other things out there, but if there does become something to optimize, then sure. But for now, it's like you said, just get started and do it,
Absolutely. Yeah, and then the Adobe AI to edit the audio, and then the Buzzsprout to put
learn
it
along the way, stuff.
Yep.
I totally tripped upon that. I don't remember how. I think it was one of those things scrolling, to be honest.
It's awesome.
And I think my wife showed me, and then I looked up a YouTube video of someone using it, and it's mind blowing. Like, they record on just like a just crummy webcam, and then you click the button to like optimize, and it's like, holy cow! Like, is this real?
Awesome.
Like, yeah. And I've sent you the audio like sample that you've seen yourself or heard yourself, I guess,
And then as far as like what to talk about, yeah, there's definitely some, I feel like there can be kind of overwhelming too, especially for a lot of people trying to, and I feel like I struggle with this too, trying to figure out like, okay, what topic do I talk about? Because it can fan out everywhere. Do you kind of try and keep it?
I don't know about you, but me personally, it makes it so much easier to talk with someone than try to come up with a topic myself and do a solo episode.
Yes.
Because when I tried to do that, my first 2 episodes, I mean, I did it, but it's like, okay, what do I talk about now? I just rambled on for 10 minutes, but now what? Like,
yeah.
But this versus it's more of a conversation, and then I ask a question, you ask a question, and it kind of just honestly does itself. Obviously come with like 2 or 3 bullet points of things you want to talk about, but before you know it, like, really got a great episode. And then the even more fun thing about it is you get to be like, I'm making the episode for everyone, to be honest. But at the same time, it's a meta thing where I'm actually learning from you at the same time. You just don't know that. Like, I'm actually gathering information from you, and totally. I just get to be the first hand. I get to ask the questions I want to know. That's all.
Yeah.
That I think will help other people as well. But
that's awesome. So then in the podcast, usually at the end, I feel like they do like, oh, how do you best get a hold of someone? How do you best, reach out to their service?
Yes.
What do you usually do? Do you have like an email, or is it like the website? Do you like put that on the show notes, or do you say it in the show? What are people want to start it?
For example, this is how we would close this. Yeah. So, all right. So yes, I will show you exactly kind of basically what I do. So Travis, thank you, brother, for honestly being I mean this, my heart, like, it's an honor to do life with you, and the time that we spent together in the leadership, but also just to be able to do this with you, help you out, help me out. Like, this is fun. This is what live for as far as serving and just helping people excel, and especially as a father. Obviously, that's a special place in my heart. But I really do honor your time. Thank you for being part of this. But before we go, where's the best place people can interact with you or check you out if they're interested, or maybe some stuff you're working on? What do you want to let the listeners know?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And same here. I'm very, very grateful for this opportunity and the chance to learn and grow from you and this journey. It's been pretty empowering. And if people want to get a hold of me with this new podcast I'm starting, it's called Earth-Centric Lighting. Right now, it's just an Instagram page, pretty easy. It's at Earth-Centric Lighting. And you can message me if you want to set up a time to meet on the show, because we're looking for not just, I'm in the design industry, but we're looking for people maybe who are in color theory, artists, maybe ophthalmology, neuroscience, to talk about, even astronomy, to talk about light and the different topics that there are. So if you guys are interested, I would love to set up a meeting to interview someone. And if they're interested in our actual design services, we have TK Lighting Design, which is at TK Lighting Design. And that's the Instagram handle. You also can email me at tkestner, TKAESTNER, at tklightingdesign.com.
Nice. Yeah. Sweet. Thanks, Travis. I'll put all that in the show notes for you guys. And hey, once again, great questions. I really enjoyed doing this. All the best of luck to you. And now that we've got this out there in the world, people will be able to find you and check out your podcast. So I'm very excited to check in with you here in only a little bit longer, and see where you end up in a couple episodes. So
sounds great.
Awesome, Travis.
Well, thank you, Devin.
Thank you. Have a great day, and I'm sure we'll talk soon.
All right.
All right, brother. Hope you really enjoyed that new episode. Fun story is actually, we recorded that probably like well over a month or two ago, maybe, before July, obviously, because that's when he was supposed to launch. And that at the time were the stats. As of right now, which is August 17th, we have 602 podcast downloads, meaning 602 people listened or streamed. Which is all thanks to you guys. I did nothing there other than publish it, and I'm very grateful for that. We're also in 33 countries now, in all of the continents: North, South America, Europe, Asia, Oceania, and Africa now. So that's amazing. And I wanted to give a space to give a quick shout out to my buddy Matt down in Houston. He put a comment on the podcast on Apple, gave us a comment or a rating here. He said, really enjoyable podcast to listen to. Love the conversations about mate and about life and culture. So thanks, Matt, for giving us that comment and review. Really appreciate it. Feel free to go over there and write me a review or let me know what's going on. Send me a message. I'll be glad to give you a shout out on the podcast. So until next week, be awesome, guys.